Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Today, back into Grigsby's classic War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. Wow, I had to find my bearings there for a moment. It's like I've been out to sea too long. We went through Los Angeles last time. I was just kind of looking over that. I did set up something after the last time here online. I put another transport out. This one, I believe, yes, the Barnett and the K.I. Luckenbach, they are going to take a base force out to Suva. And that base force has 30 aviation support. Always very important. The American base forces have a lot of aviation support, generally speaking, and you want to try to get them out to as many bases as possible. Now, sometimes you can send this one to Nomaya, but I'm really a Suva person. Like what? I just Suva has got a bigger port, bigger airfield. Obviously, Nomaya is very important, and we will get units out to Nomaya. Don't you worry about that. But I focus a little more on Suva than maybe some other people do. I don't know. I feel like I put a bigger emphasis on it. I think it's your best base for anywhere between Pearl Harbor and Brisbane, essentially. And so I try to build it up as much as possible. Okay, we're through Los Angeles. Let's pop up to March Field, see what's going on. Usually there's a lot of air assets going on at March Field. Let's look at the ground units first. We've got a base force here. That's good. We've got another base force, and this one is set for the South Pacific. Let's check it out and see what it has. It has engineers and it has motorized support. We're going to put that on strategic move, and we are going to send that down to Los Angeles and eventually move that out to the Southwest Pacific. It's always got, it's always nice to have these base forces or engineer forces, which is what this is, um, that aren't landlocked to the West Coast. In this case, it's already set for Southwest Pacific. You don't have to pay anything for it. Now, we may move this to Suva. We may put it in Nomaya. We may put it in Pago Pago. We'll see as we go along. But for now, we'll get it down to Los Angeles. I'll even you know what? I'm actually not going to change that yet because I kind of look at these as my indicators. And when something doesn't match up, it doesn't say at target, then I know I should be doing something with it. So when it gets to Los Angeles and we see March Field, I'll say, okay. But the best way to do it really is to look at the commands or where it could be. Let's put it that way. And all of these other ones, this base force, 4th USAAF, we've seen that quite a bit, and 4th US Fighter Command, always keep in mind that the 4th is pretty much landlocked to the West Coast. You can buy out some of the units, but overall speaking, the 4th is a West Coast uh, setup. So anyway, that's that for the land units. We've got the one coming down to Los Angeles. Let's go look at the fighters. We've got 10th USAAF, so that can get off fair. Actually, we'll just do it this way, which is the easier way to do it, I think. We actually have 4 units here that are 10th USAAF. They are not locked over here. And then we have some Warhawks that are locked over here. So if we go down, these will all be training groups. We'll fly them. Let's see. These are the Lightnings. The Lightnings can go up to 20,000 feet with, hell, they can go to 31,000 feet with no real hit to their maneuverability. And so we'll fly these up at 20,000 for their training. May as well put their range to 0. All right, we'll come back here. Look at the next one. These are the Warhawks. Of course, the Warhawk, you'll get used to these as you go through, but 15,000 is the best for the Warhawks. We'll pop that up to 15,000. Put the range at 0. We'll put the training at 100 for escort. Perfect. Now we've got this group of Warhawks. Again, these are just going to be training. You couldn't buy them out if you wanted to. A lot of times you really wouldn't want to because we need to train up as many pilots as we can. This is another Warhawk, so we'll go to 15,000 feet. Training, escort, train. That's how it should look. Back, the Warhawks, these Warhawks, let's see what their experience is showing. It's a 42. I think any of these in 10th USAAF, we'll look where the command is for 10th USAAF. As a matter of fact, let's click on that. Yeah, it's yet to arrive. That's under Southeast Asia, so it hasn't arrived yet. Obviously, the Americans not prepared to fight in Southeast Asia yet. Hell, you could argue they weren't in the late 60s either. But these guys will just train until they get here, but I probably will move them down to Los Angeles just so these are Warhawks. Just so we're ready. Let's make sure this is a different flavor of Warhawk. Yeah, we can get that up to 15. Um, just so we know that they should be moved out eventually. Eventually. Train 100. Okay, and let's transfer to the base. Los Angeles, you can see Los Angeles has 9 aircraft, 298 support. So we've got plenty of support there. I'm going to put them in LA just so we don't forget. Um, that they should be moved out at some point. I keep the trainers at Marchfield. I put the ones that don't need to be training and will eventually move. Oh, this is the Lightning. Let's just make sure again. Yep, 20,000 feet. All right, we'll train them up to 100. Training, escort, 120,000. Transfer to base. All right, put them in Los Angeles. This is just how I keep it straight in my mind. You don't have to do it this way. Hell, maybe you want to put them all in San Diego. They're going to ship out or something. You can kind of do it as you will. I just know that if aircraft are sitting in Los Angeles, they should probably be moved out. 30, 24. We'll leave them at 10,000 feet. Take off the range, pop the train, go to Los Angeles. All right. I believe this is the fourth video of the setup, and you're probably getting a flavor saying, holy wow, is this game something? It really is if you've never watched it before. It's the most in-depth game I think ever made. We'll put them in Los Angeles, okay. And now we've got all the ones that will eventually ship out in LA. We've kept the ones here at March Field that are just training aircraft. That's their whole purpose in life is to train. Now, if I go back up to LA, and there's nothing else to do here at March Field, if I go back up to LA here, let's see, because I thought maybe one of those I didn't set their altitude correctly. Sorry, or their range. Excuse me. I just want to make sure they're at 0. This is the kind of stuff that, I say, well, I should do offline. You guys don't care, but say by the same token, um, may as well take care of it while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so that's Marchfield. Then we get back up here to Bakersfield. Mojave is what it's called. We could keep the Space Force here. We could move it down to Marchfield if we wanted to. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I could sit here and tell you all the different reasons it could go here, there, or everywhere. It's fine. We'll just let this. But hold on. Let me see something. Yeah, it's restricted West Coast. Couldn't do anything with it. We'll just leave it at Mojave just in case we want more training aircraft. It does. We could build the airport. My gosh, I hate when I do that. This airfield's a 4. Mojave could go into a 7. I mean, we've got plenty of supply. Sure. Let's expand the airfield at Mojave just in case, and we'll build fortifications. Believe me, if the Japanese are up in Bakersfield, all hope is lost. Out to San Luis Obispo. I was just up by Slow, as the locals call it, recently. My father lives up by there. I've mentioned that before. Recon aircraft. Yeah, we'll do some recon. We got 10 of these bad boys. Now, they don't have a lot of experience, but oh well. We'll recon them anyway. We may take a few, operational losses, but really, if you're not going to use these things, what's the point of them? Here you can just see they're outfitted with Brownings, but I mean, these things are to go out and search. Maximum range, we'll do it that way. Let's pop up their search to a 50. I don't know. What is this? This is straight out 270, right? So let's try 300 to the north, 240, 230 to the south. Sure. 230, 300. That's what I'm going to start with anyway. 240. Look at me getting crazy. Let's see what that looks like. I actually would rather it go down this way, right? So let's crank that twice. See how much that moves it around. Yeah, that's what we want. Just in case something's coming up this way, we may even would spy out a sub or something like that. Which is your main concern here? At San Luis Obispo, let's look at the ground forces. What do we got? They're all West Coast restricted. You can never buy them out if you wanted to. We've got a couple that are already saying, "Hey, we want to go to Los Angeles." Sure they do. Why, why do you think they want to go hang out down in LA? I get it. 188. Well, these can be bought out, can't they? Um, sure. Let's strategic move them down to Los Angeles. There we go. Let's do one. So they're at, that's a 93. Holy moly. 93 and a 95. You know what? The other one I'm just going to leave here for now. We'll put its target at San Luis. Um, Eventually we'll probably move that out, but we'll wait until we get some more forces. I just don't want to leave something completely uncovered. I guess if I was the Japanese, where would I go? I mean, I probably wouldn't land directly in Los Angeles, so it'd probably be one of these bases to try to get a beachhead. It's crazy to think of California being invaded like that, but I guess I've seen crazier things happen in this game. Fresno. Well, nobody ever wants to hang out in Fresno, not really. We've got a base force here. We could move that somewhere else, and we may. Let's look at the aircraft. Okay, they're all fourth USAF. We could eventually. Nope, we can't buy those. Nope, nope, nope. We could move these down to March Field. As a matter of fact, maybe that's what I'll do. Like I said, I like to have those be my trainers. Now this has only got one aircraft in it. If I disband it, we'll go. Nope, we don't want to do that. Okay. Um, let's train them up at 100. They're bolos. They can do a little bit of everything. We could train airfield attack, port attack, ground attack, naval search, ASW patrol. Let's train some ASW pilots. We'll back that off. We'll back this down to 8,000. I mean, it's one damn plane. I don't know why I'm spending that much time on it. Where are you, Marchfield? We could actually put it out at Mojave too. Let's look at our overall sports. Obviously, you can see Eastern U.S. do a lot of training there. You can do a lot of training in San Francisco, L.A. We're going to send this fourth. It's part of fourth USAAF. We will send it down to where its command is, which is Marchfield. Like I said, I like to keep them all together. Nope, we don't want to do that. All right, train ASW patrol. Oh, we've got one that's oh, why didn't that transfer? I guess it's going to. We'll see. Um, let's go on to the next. Training. We'll do all of these guys. We need good ASW pilots. I feel like it doesn't do enough sometimes. That all looks good. We'll transfer to the base. Support. Here. Marchfield. All right, off you go, my friend. Training is. I don't know why this one didn't move. It's a serviceable aircraft. I don't know. Maybe it'll go next time. We'll see. Can we disband this group into something else? No, it's one plane again. My goodness. Training, ASW, maximum range. Pop that down. 8,000. Transfer to base. This is a lot of time to spend on four planes. Such is life in this game. All right, off you go. We got one last plane. I eventually these are probably going to build up. These squadrons, they just haven't done it yet. Right at the start, 8,000. Whoops, maximum range 0. ASW patrol 100. All right, and down to Marchfield you go. There we go. All right, so hopefully this will follow along behind. There's really no reason to keep this base force here. It's got 30 aviation support. That's nice. We could put that in at March. Let's just do that. There's no reason to have one out here. Um, we'll put it in at March March Field. Now, we've already got plenty of aviation sport, but we're going to get a lot of planes that have to be trained up at some point. So, don't say, well, gosh, I'll just let something sit out here, because believe me, you'll get to a point in 43 or 44 where you're training, or you have, you know, frickin' 3,000 planes out at March Field, or Mojave. That's why I sent the one to Mojave, or kept the base force there. All right, so that's all taken care of out of Fresno. We'll move up the coast here to Fort Ord. What's happening at Fort Ord? Well, I don't know. We're going to build some forts. We can expand the airfield. There's always a lot actually happening at Fort Ord. I said jokingly, what's happening here? A lot will happen. Now, some of these are restricted, some are not. Like ultimately restricted. They're all restricted. Some you can buy out, some you can't. They're all going to be sitting here for the most part now. Fort Ord is really a training place. We've got recon that can go out here. Not great experience, but that's okay. We'll back that off. We'll put it on recon. These are the 049 vigilance. Okay. Uh, and we'll crank this down to, he's got 10 of these. We'll do 210 to 310. Is that, or 300? Yeah, they don't have much range, as you can see, a 3 and a 2. So they're just going to be out here looking like this. Um, Jiminy Christmas. Okay, it is what it is. This has a little more, an 8. These are 047As. We'll have them do, we'll call it recon. Ultimately, recon, naval search, okay. I mean, these are recon, straight up recon planes. Probably have these do something very similar. We've got 12 of these. Let's do 190 to 3. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. 190 to 310. Yeah, there. Wow, that's some beautiful looking recon right there, my friends. Okay, that's Fort Ord. Let's make sure Fort Ord does have some aviation support. Yep, it's got 30. It needs 22. And that's going to cover a nice area there along the coast. It looks like we've got a unit already on the move. How did it know? How did it know? It is the 7th Motorized Infantry Division. It is locked to the U.S. West Coast. Okay. Look at that assault strength, 397. Let's get this sucker out. Half tracks. I mean, it's got all kinds of stuff, armored cars, howitzers. I mean, this is a very powerful unit. It's on the move to San Francisco. We're not going to mess with that. That's fine by me. Alameda. What's going on, Alameda? Using torpedoes, we'll say using bombs. 48, nah, we don't need you to train anymore. These are Catalina float patrols. We'll do some ASW. All right, and I kind of like that. What was the last one I did? 190? I'll do like or how about 200 to 250? Oops, there we go. 260, exit. All right, this that looks good to me. They're very good at doing ASW, these kind of Catalinas, float plus patrol, because they have a lot of range. Now, when you do ASW, the range is halved as opposed to naval search. Naval search, they can get all the way out here. It's something to think about, but we've got other planes, don't worry, and we need all the ASW help we can get. Having them this way, though, we actually should bump them up a little bit, I think. Maybe to 230 to 290. Yeah, there we go. So now it's right out here where he would send his subs. That all looks good. We've got a little anti-air. Now this is supposedly supposed to go to San Francisco. Okay, let's send it there then. That's fine. Um, Onward and upward then. So that AA will go to San Francisco. Let's go back here to Stockton, where we have a base force and no real need for it. It's got aviation support. There's no reason now. let's go look at what we've got here. We've got Mare Island, which has a level 2 airfield. We've got San Francisco, which has a level 10 and a level 9 port. That's nice. Um, it's the best in the game, actually. Mare Island, we've got Sacramento back here. It's got a level 5 airfield. Stockton has a level 2 airfield. Well, why don't we train then? And then Alameda's got a level 2. If we're going to train things up by San Francisco, let's do it out of Sacramento. And so let's strategic move this, and we'll send it over to Sacramento. Get it out of Stockton. No reason to have it there. So it will go up there, and we can also train aircraft here. Now, most of it's going to happen at March Field for now. Later in the game, we may bring Sacramento into play. That reminds me, Alameda. Let's build forts. It's fine. It's got a shipyard actually in Alameda. Stockton, we don't need to do anything. Sacramento, it's the gosh darn capital. Let's build forts and expand airfields. We'll try to get that up to a 7. As we come back around here to Mare Island, we just have the one base force. That's fine. Um, it does have some aviation. It's got a lot of naval support. You know what? It's static anyway. It doesn't matter. We can't move that. We do have 5 ships in port at Mare Island. You may say, what? Oh, I guess we did have some back here too at Alameda. We had one, the AK Alcoa Prospector. Okay, we're going to put that into cargo task force, and we're going to pick the Prospector. Done. And we're going to send that to San Francisco. Oh, San Francisco. Alrighty, and we're going to set that as its home port. Okay, and when it gets there, we will start sending stuff somewhere with the Alcoa Prospector. Nothing in Stockton, nothing else in Sacramento. But here at Mare Island, we do have 5 ships in the port. We have an ACM, the Barricade. Now let's go look. Does Mare Island have defensive mines? It does not, and so really that ACM best suited for San Francisco for now. Now, San Francisco is going to have its own ACMs, right? So, um, Mine laying, let's just call it support. The barricade, all right. Oh, then we have some other supports like the Dixie, the Thrush, the Jackson. No reason to have them back here. Let's just put them all in one task force because ultimately it doesn't matter that much. We'll go to San Francisco with them. We'll set their home port as San Francisco, and then we'll have them disband when they get there. All right, and we'll do auto disband, so they just go into the port, and we'll figure it out at that point. What else do we have? So we have one more ship in port. What the heck is it? It's the AP Wharton. Nice. We need transport, so let's grab that transport. The Wharton. Perfect. Done. We'll sail that into San Francisco, and we'll set that as its home port. All right. Excellent. Cool. Um, Well, that's all of this stuff. We've got to get, we will, that base force we can't move anyway. Now, at San Francisco, we got a lot going on. San Francisco, arguably, well, I say arguably, it's definitely the best U.S. port. I think nowadays people would think, oh, well, Los Angeles is probably bigger. You know, throughout most of California's history, San Francisco was the town Los Angeles has built up since post World War II. But San Francisco, was the main outpost in California, certainly at this time in the 1940s. Um, all right, well, let's look at the air and see what we got going on. We've got a lot of B-17 Fortresses here. 5th U.S. Bomber Command. I'm going to guess, nope, that is 4th U.S. Bomber Command. Where the heck is 5th U.S. Bomber Command? I think it's maybe up in Seattle or Portland. We're going to go look for it really quickly because I'd like it to be together. This is 2 U.S. fighter. All right, well, we're going to have to go look. It's possible that 5th U.S. isn't on the map yet. I'm sorry, 5th Bomber Command. So let's go look. 5th Bomber Command has yet to arrive. Okay. Do we really want big B-17s flying in and out of Los Angeles? Well, ultimately, it probably doesn't matter. But I'm probably going to put all of these down at March Field, and then I'll put 5th Bomber Command down there as well. Or why we moved these things to Sacramento is we could have them train out of Sacramento. What is Sacramento's aviation support at this moment? 16. Well, that ain't going to get it done. I don't believe. How many of these do we have? These B-17s. You can see the range the big fortresses have. How many of these bad boys? Well, we don't even have 16. Well, we do. 16. Yeah, it's got more than 16 actually. Um, hmm. I could put them back in Mojave. I think for now I'm going to put them down at Marchfield. We may as well. So let's train. We can either do airfield port or port attack. Really, that's what you're looking for with the B-17s or those two big attack types. Train, really, these would probably run higher. We can look at the data. Got a max altitude of 36.6. It's not going to show us maneuverability. That's not what we're playing for here, certainly. Okay. All right. Well, let's put these. We'll keep them. Let's put them at 20,000 feet for now. We'll train them at 100%. No range. Training airfield attack. Transfer to base. Again, we'll go down to March Field, and if we need to move them later, if March starts to get a little crowded, we'll do it then. So off you go, my friend. We'll go back. Um, and then we'll take these fortresses training airfield attack. That's fine. We'll do some of them on port attack as well. We'll crank that down. We'll transfer to base. Here we go. March Field. You can see Marchfield's got 190 now, and we could add to that aviation support. You never want to go over the aviation support. It just causes operational losses, takes them longer to repair, etc., etc., etc. Let's do these. Some port attack here. Training. Perfect. Marchfield. There it is. All right. We'll go back. Do some more. These guys. Training. Do these port attack. 20,000 feet, 0, and transfer to March Field. Again, a lot of this is just me keeping it straight in my mind. There's absolutely nothing that prohibits you from training these. Um, why did this stick around? Transfer to base, training, airfield attack for this guy, sure. There's nothing that keeps you from training these guys at San Francisco. I like to have everything in a few spots. This game's big enough as it is that it's a hard game to keep track of anyway. Okay, so he'll be following down. Whoops, let's go back to that. We got one more of these fortresses, 20,000 feet. Port attack this time. No range. Transfer down. March Field. Just like that. Once you get used to the buttons, it's just doot, 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 doot. Level bombers. What do we have here? Oh, this is those or more of those. Oh, I'm sorry. Thought I had gotten through all those. Oh, this is Hawaiian. This is Hawaiian airfield. Okay, so these fortresses, all three of them, can eventually go out. I'm going to actually transfer them to LA since that seems to be what I'm doing here, as far as, aircraft that we can eventually get out of here. So let's go down to Los Angeles because that's part of the Hawaiian group, and we can put them on some ships. Now, it probably wouldn't be worth it for three of them, but we may add to that total at some point. So off they go. Um, did I not just do this right? Training 100. Maybe there were a few more than I thought. Okay, Hawaiian. Okay, transfer to base. Los Angeles. Okay, there we go. It was giving me a group size warning down here. Why is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I might be over 10. Yeah, these Warhawks are over. Okay. Let's put them then. Well, next time I'll put them up at Marchfield. All right. All right. So we've done that with the fortresses. Let's go back to San Francisco. Gosh darn it. Got a lot of ships in port. Only 67 of them. We've got some more Hawaiians here. Mohawk, Warhawks. These, I guess I'll just train here. They'll either be in LA or San Francisco. Let's train them up at 100%. We've got, we'll keep these at 10,000. 10,000, 0, training, escort, done. Back. These we can take off, obviously. The Mohawk, oh, I think that's what I just set up. Okay. Back the Warhawks then. Again, 15,000 feet almost always on the Warhawks. So we go to 15,000, train them up at 100. Perfect. Uh, Back that up. Then we've got four things in 4th U.S. Fighter Command. These are what we've been taking down to Marchfield, and we will continue to do that. We've got Warhawks. We'll train at 100%. We'll go to 15,000 feet. Training escort. Take them to beautiful Marchfield. I have no idea if it's beautiful or not, but I'm going to call it that. Okay, 100. These are Warhawks again. I'll transfer to base. Marchfield. All right. Two more to go, and then we'll get into the ships. We'll go to 15,000 feet. Training escort. All right. If I miss something, just put it in the comments. I'm trying to hurry probably a little more than I normally would if I was just playing myself, which I'm sure you can understand. And then we've got one more to go, so we have a lot of pilots training here, and that is a good thing for the Allies. The pilots start off not so good, not so great anyway. Um, Transfer to base. And we've got a lot of fly jockeys down at Marchfield, having a good time, I'm sure. All right, everything else is supposed to be here. Let's look at the ground units, see if anything, is indicating to us, oh, you need to get this out of here. We've got several Pacific fleets here. That's awesome. We've got two base forces. We've got a battalion here. That's an artillery battalion. Okay. We've got a really nice 34th Infantry Regiment. Now, usually I'll put this one either in Suva or Nomaya. It's a good unit to have out there. We've got a construction regiment, so we've got some engineers, and we've got a coastal artillery regiment that can always come in handy. We've also got, these two I think could eventually be bought out, but for now we'll leave them at San Francisco. You can see we've got a target at Pearl Harbor for these two. They're kind of giving you a hint, hint, hint. But we'll have to get into the ships here and see what kind of transports we have. Let's do that. Let's just go by type. We've got a bunch of destroyers, okay? Some of them are better than others, as you can see the 35s here. These I'm going to send out to Pearl Harbor. I maybe even will have it meet up with, what is this, the Saratoga that's coming out of here. Um, and just, help ferry that out. You can see they got an ASW of 2, but they have really good anti-aircraft guns on these. They also have a speed of 35 and a better endurance. So let's form those up into surface combat. Okay. And we'll pick the ones with the better range. The ones with the lower range, we're going to run ASW up and down the West Coast with those. We just no reason to even ship them out to Pearl Harbor because we need them and we'll use them for those purposes. And look, I mean, they're just not that good. They've got twos here, but their AA isn't very good. Eh, they are what they are. Done. What we're going to do is we're going to say meet task force. And which one? We're going to come down here, click on these. We're going to look for air combat. All right. And they are going to go meet and merge with that. And you can see they're going to do it right there. So they're going to merge when Saratoga comes out of the port. Perfect. Okay, that's easy enough. Now then, we've got, 5 destroyers here. Now, usually I like destroyers to hunt together in packs of 2 when they're doing ASW work. And you may say, Dojo, why would you do such a thing? And I would say to you, because if one destroyer finds it, the other one can run over there and try to drop depth charges. I just have found that I have more luck when they run in twos. Unfortunately, early in the game, you don't really have such a luxury. You just don't have enough ASW. Um, so we're going to pick one of these, the Humphreys. Done. We're going to make its home port San Diego. Okay. And we are going to set up, whoops, actually, we're going to do it this way. We're going to say go to San Diego. All right, and now we're going to set up a patrol zone. Sometimes this game's a little finicky like that. You have to set the destination before you can do the patrol zone. And we're going to run it, let's say 1, let's say 2, and boundary 3 will be right in front of big SD. And we'll just have it run that patrol zone over and over. As you can see, it could probably do it about 7 times. My math off, something like that, 6 or 7 times. Um, yeah, so it'll be based out of San Diego, and it's just going to run this ASW triangle over and over and over. Oh, that reminds me though. Let's go down to it here. Let's put its max react at 2, 3. Yeah, 3. In this tight of a space, we'll leave it at 3. What does this mean? This is if something's detected or if it gets indication that there is, let's say, a submarine, here and it's here, it'll react to it. If it's all the way back here, it won't. Because it's more than 3 away. So you're just telling it how far away do you want me to react to something. Um, the sands would be next. Let's do some ASW combat. We will go grab the sands. Done. We're going to set its home port at Los Angeles, or Los Angeles as the kids call it, or LA, baby. Um, very interesting town in both good and bad ways. Set patrol zone. All right, this one we're going to go out this way a little bit. 1, 2, and boundary 3 will be here. Now, eventually, as we get more destroyers, we'll add other destroyers in here. Now, keep in mind, and this is an AI thing. Humans play differently a little bit, obviously, but I'm just saying the AI likes to have it right out in this area. I find that humans maybe get a little closer. That's completely anecdotal. I don't have any evidence to back that up, but that's when I played the game against humans, I feel like they get in a little tighter to the coast than the AI does for whatever reason. All right, so we've got another ASW here. This one, I don't know, maybe we'll put this one in at San Luis. We could also put it in at Santa Barbara. Does Santa Barbara have any fuel? Yeah, it's got a little fuel, doesn't it? We could also put it in at Fort Ord, or we could send them north. Um, it's good to have more out here than less, believe me. Let's go into San Luis Obispo. It'll have its very own destroyer. Someday it will be in a museum in San Luis, I'm sure, as the one destroyer. How did World War II touch San Luis? Kids can go look at it. Set patrol zone. All right, and we're going to kind of, back engineer this because this is the corridor we're really worried about. Uh, yeah, we'll do it this way, maybe into here. I don't know. I kind of hedged my bets there. I don't really want it to go there. Set boundary 2 out here by Catalina Island. All right. And then we'll set boundary 3, up here at the corner. I could really put this back into Los Angeles, couldn't I? Probably. Let's set the home port as LA. You need all of the SW up here you can get. Oh, I picked Port Hueneme. That is how you pronounce it. I know it's a running joke how I pronounce things sometimes, but that is Port Hueneme. Okay, so it's got a patrol zone in close to the coast. Let's go back, form a new task force, ASW. We'll get the Lawrence done. All right, this is going to stay in San Francisco, and we'll just set up a patrol zone here. Get this one going out a little further. Human players love to come straight to San Francisco and set up shop with their Japanese subs. We're just going to run our usual triangle. Now, some of these I need to go back and set their react. I forgot to do that. 1, 2, 3. Looks like you can run this 5 or 6 times. Let's do a max react. I'm going to set it out to 3. Um, Later on, we'll probably back that off to a 2. But for now, I want them to react and get to anything that they can. So 1, 2, 3, and 3. And then we've got these guys going to meet the Saratoga. All right. We've got one more to go. And there we go. All right. Let's grab a hold of the last one there. All right. And this one, I think we'll go a little further out. Out to here, maybe even out to here. Yeah, let's do that. He's not going to be able to do this many times before he has to refuel, but that's okay. We'll just try to cover, a little more territory with this guy, and give a little more coverage out. These are, very fast. They go 30 or so nautical miles. Um, so we'll do a reactive 3. Looks like 27. That's not bad. It can almost make it 4 revolutions. That's going to have to do it. All right. Now then, what else do we have here? Sorry. I was actually answering a text message of all things. The cuttlefish and the tuna. Let's get those guys together. Those are going to be on sub patrol. Sub patrol. Cuttlefish and tuna. You can see we've got, several different kinds of subs here. Well, I say several. I mean, these have the same endurance. They actually have different speed. The allied subs aren't very good at the start. We've gone over that a million times as to why. Um, let's get them going out to Pearl Harbor initially. Anyway, we'll bring them into Pearl. We'll set that as their home port. All right. Interesting how the game wants to do this different ways. Sometimes it goes up and curly cues around. What do we have now? We have the S-27, S-28. Now these could run anti-sub operations down here, and I think that's what we'll have them do. Sub patrol, yes sir. They could also lay mines if we wanted them to, but let's take the S-27. Done. We will have that run out of Los Angeles. All right. And we'll send it down there. And let's set up a patrol zone for that. This one can be a little further out. Yeah, we'll just do something like that, out in this area. 1, 2. We'll have it in the deeper water. Try not to get my subs in the shallow water if I can help it. 3. All right, so we'll just run this area. Back, always remember your subs to set their max react. You can't go above 1, so it's a 1. That's fine. We can actually even do these while we're thinking about it. We'll just already have them at one. Let's do the other sub here. Sub patrol. There we go. Excellent. And we'll do the S-28. Done. Um, this will stay in San Francisco. We'll set a patrol zone with boundaries, maybe a little further out here in the deep ocean. Two and three. It looks like he's only going to be able to do this a couple of times before he's got to go back into San Francisco, but that's all right. They're both over level 7 ports, so they can rearm. They can, uh, get torpedoes onto these things, no matter how shitty the torpedoes might be early in the game. All right, so we've got that, and then we have the Nautilus, which we'll also put in as a sub patrol. It's just a little slower, so I wanted to do that by itself. We'll send it out to Pearl Harbor. Okay, excellent. Alrighty, and now we've got a bunch of AGs, we've got a bunch of AOs, we've got some AEs, some APs, some tankers, a lot of stuff, a lot of APs, which is great. We need all of these transports we can get, certainly in all of these cargo. I mean, San Francisco has so much stuff. Look at the fuel, almost 1 million tons of fuel, 223 in supplies. Looks like these are all the same speed for the tankers, but I'm going to deal with those next time. When we come back, we'll finish up San Francisco. We'll get through Seattle. I'll make sure. Then we can bypass Canada. We already did Canada, and then we'll get up into Alaska. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I love setting this game up. I don't know. I don't know. Some people like to watch it, some people don't. We got to get this turn back to Lodrick, or he's going to yell at me. So I will start trying to get these up just as fast as I can. Anyway, this has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.